Good morning, everybody. My name is Felix. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Foodpanda. Foodpanda is a group that is focusing on online takeaway, online ordering in the emerging markets, as just discussed. That is our focus. And I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes to tell you a bit about what we're doing, how successful we've been, and so on. So a bit about the Foodpanda story. I'm really looking forward to it. So before we start with Foodpanda, let's look at the market just very briefly. So the market is very big. It's a $2.7 trillion market. It's in line with the two other big markets in e-commerce, which is fashion and travel. The big advantage about food ordering is the fact that it's not as penetrated yet as the other markets in terms of online ordering. The market is very fragmented, so you have globally around 20 million restaurants. So it's a very tough market to aggregate, and especially tough in the emerging markets. And that's why it has been taking a long time for technology to advance to a stage where it's actually possible to aggregate restaurants at a large scale for a marketplace business or for a delivery business. So the penetration is roughly 1% as compared to the other big markets where it is much higher already. And therefore, it's a huge opportunity that we're looking at. Talking a bit about Foodpanda. So Foodpanda has, from the very beginning, pursued a market leadership strategy. So we did go to these markets because we wanted to be market leader. And we're now market leader in 20 markets in 3 regions. So we are very active in the APAC region, ranging from, for example, India or Pakistan to Hong Kong and Singapore, Taiwan. We're also active in the Middle East, market leadership in Saudi and Egypt. And we are also in Central and Eastern Europe and the CIS region. Also, in many of these markets we are leading. So these regions are really what we consider to be our core regions. We have now integrated around 26,000 restaurants. So every single one of these restaurants is integrated either by means of a POS integration, by means of a tablet computer, or by means of a desktop applications. We've fully digitally integrated with these restaurants. And a lot of work actually went into pursuing this path of full automation and persuading restaurants to fully automate, but it's a key requirement for our business. We expect to have 37 million orders by the end of the year for this particular year, so we are also at scale. So our business is really has been growing very, very strongly over the last couple of years, and we're very proud to be relevant and big in all the markets that we are actively working in. And then I think it's also quite obvious, mobile first is our core strategy. In emerging markets, I don't know who of you is also working in the emerging markets, but it's particularly important to focus on mobile because very often consumers leapfrog from offline to smartphone without actually getting a desktop. And also the countries are more investing into, let's say, mobile data connections rather than landline extensions or landline development. So it's a natural must for us, but it's also something that gives us a very, very good lock-in on consumers because, as we all know, reorder rates are usually higher on mobile devices, and it's really driving our positive cohort behavior as well. Yeah. A particularity about our business, and I will go a bit further into it on the further slides to come. But essentially, we are operating 2 business models in one, one being our own last mile delivery and one being the marketplace. For our own last mile delivery, and that's about 1/3 of our orders, we are having a 36-minute delivery time in average, which is very, very good. So really trying to use our own last mile delivery to establish an entirely new service level, which appeals to customers and which makes them reorder more often. So delivery time is a very, very important factor for us, and we work very hard to get to that 36 minutes, especially in emerging markets. And the final number I want to give you before I go a bit deeper into the business. So we're growing roughly 4x year over year over the last couple of years, and it's a very strong growth business due to the geographies, due to, let's say, demographic development of these markets. There's so many factors that are driving growth in the emerging markets, and we're very happy to be well positioned in these markets, and hence we're also experiencing a very, very exciting growth. I already touched on this very briefly. So if you look at food ordering in general, you usually have 2 models that you refer to as a consumer. You either go to a marketplace if you want to have a budget option, if you want to order from a pizza place. So these are restaurants that have been around for a long time. They're usually aggregated in certain platforms that have been around for at least 10 years or 5 to 10 years. And then on the other hand, you have the new model, which we call the own delivery or Foodpanda delivery model. So usually, companies are pursuing one or the other way. We decided to pursue both in parallel from the very beginning. The reason being that we believe that ultimately the consumer needs to have as many options as possible. If he wants to go for a burger with his friends, he should be able to order a burger. If he wants to have nice sushi, like a couple with his wife, whatever, like a man with his wife, and then they would rather opt for sushi. So there are different use cases, and there are also different income groups, segments of consumers, and we want to maximize overall conversion and marketing efficiency of our platform, and therefore we pursue a full inventory approach, really providing all options from the cheapest to the most expensive ones, and that has really paid out for us in a very good way. There's a positive side effect to it, because the marketplace business is the more scalable business. It's also the more profitable business on a unit economic base, because you're basically just passing the order onto the restaurant. There's no operational overhead. And then on the other hand, the advantages of the own delivery model are clearly that you can add additional inventory to your website. You can essentially capture restaurants that are not providing delivery, and you essentially gain new customers or different customer segments. And also, you're able to provide a very, very good user experience by means of full control of the value chain. And therefore, it's great to actually have both market models or both business models at your fingertips, and we adjust them market-specific, considering facts like competition, for example, maturity of the market, etc. So we have markets where we have 100% marketplace, and then we have markets where we run 100% on delivery, and then we have markets that are in between. But it gives us great flexibility. So from a technological point of view, what's the kind of strategy that we are pursuing? So we look at our customers in three different groups. We have consumers, we have restaurants, and we have delivery riders. So we're catering for three different groups of, let's say, that are participating in our ecosystem. And we're actually trying to integrate as much as we can. So we're trying to build a food ecosystem, a food tech ecosystem that can integrate partners from different angles. So for example, just to give you a few practical examples. So one is, for example, McDonald's. So we've integrated with McDonald's on a global level. We're actually one of the very, very few players in the world to have integrated with McDonald's. And we're passing on orders directly into their POS system, which is extremely comfortable for them and for us, but also it creates a great lock-in, of course. And we also integrated with many other big, large restaurant chains. Another example would be WeChat. So we really try to find the customers wherever they are. And especially in Asian markets, very often it's not enough to only go to Facebook and Google and kind of try to acquire customers for paid advertising, but you need to get them where they really are. So for example, in WeChat, we built an ordering extension, so you can order through WeChat, actually a Foodpanda dish. And it's a very popular way of ordering, and we really try to find these kind of solutions wherever we go. And then finally, another example, we teamed up with Grab in Thailand, so we're now dispatching orders automatically to Grab, and they're fulfilling these orders, so we've integrated them into our delivery network, and gives us more scale, and it's a great partner, by the way, to work with. So we really try to be as open as we can, because there are many touch points to our different target groups. Talking about growth, because I think this is, to be honest, very often underestimated if you're only operating in Western markets, how strong the underlying growth drivers in these markets are. So if you look at markets like India, like Pakistan, for example, you have actually three factors that are driving growth and also future growth. One being population growth. So the population is obviously still growing at a vast pace in these countries, and they have a very, very high segment of young consumers, which are very prone to actually use our services and to try out food ordering as such. So there's some really, like a real peculiarity that you do not find in other Western markets to this proportion. The other factor being demographic GDP growth. So we have increasingly accelerating wealth distribution in these countries. So yeah, there's like a 26% wealth increase over the next couple of years is very, very significant. And a large part of that will move into convenience services like ours. So the people will try out services like food ordering, and they will also come back to us, and they will be able to increase their frequency because they have more disposable income. And then actually the last effect is the biggest one. Smartphone penetration or mobile internet penetration is happening at a crazy pace. So for example, just to give you, again, a country reference, in Pakistan, every month over the last months, because the government has started subsidizing mobile, let's say mobile networks, 5 million new mobile network users are moving every month into our ecosystem in Pakistan. 5 million 3G, 4G users. It's crazy. It's almost like, the city of Berlin plus the surroundings entering the market at every month to participate and to potentially consume in our market. So we're really, really excited about these opportunities, and that also counts for other markets. How do we see the future? So we see innovation happening outside and inside of Foodpanda. And there's a lot of food innovation, or a lot of, let's say, ordering innovation. Order channels are changing. Facebook Messenger is becoming an order channel and a customer care channel. So really, really, we're excited about external innovation. But at the same time, of course, we'll also focus on our internal innovation. For example, providing cloud kitchens. Cloud kitchens are kitchens that you position in certain white spots in cities where you know there's a lot of demand, but it's not being serviced, so you essentially create a cloud kitchen together with partnering restaurants. We're trying that out in some markets already. Drone delivery is definitely to come in the near future. We've already tried it out. It's a more legal matter to actually get it, to scale, but it's going to happen. So we look forward to having the Foodpanda ecosystem as a backbone to drive innovation outside and inside of Foodpanda, and we're very open to any partners that are helping us to address more customers or to provide a better user experience. All right. Thank you very much. That was it. If there's any question, please let me know. I'm around for the next couple of hours and happy to have a discussion if you like to. Thank you.